Welcome to the tutorial on how to work with trees in Sketchup. Now 2D billboard trees like these work quite nicely in Sketchup, but sometimes for the final Maxwell renderings you would like to have real 3D trees in the scene. I'm going to show you how to swap these trees for real 3D. Now first of all you have to import your 3D tree somewhere in the scene. Now this imported tree is a component just as your 2D billboards. Now you just select the billboards that you want to replace with the 3D tree. Go to the components window and you can see a list of all your components in the scene. Find the 3D tree, right click on that and in the menu select replace selected. And you can now notice that the 2D billboards were swapped for new 3D component instances. Let's go back to the original position. It's a bit slower now. You can see I only swapped two trees closest to the camera, and the ones in the back are still 2D billboards. All of the leaves on these trees are geometry, so rendering a lot of these trees will require huge amounts of memory. If I want to, I can explode the trees before export, and I will save a lot of memory as all of the leaves will be exported as component instances in Maxwell. I'll talk about that in a while. Now when you render the scene, you'll see that the billboard trees in the back blend in quite nicely with the 3Ds in the front, and you still have a nice 3D foliage in the front. Now this all requires a little bit of setup, so we'll take a few steps back and see how that's done. Now let's have a look at the 3D tree itself. Components inside other components or inside groups will not be instanced when exported to Maxwell, so you want to make sure that you can select all of those leaf components individually. They are not inside groups, and you can have a look at the components window. You can see there are a lot of instances of this leaf, and all of these leaves are on the bottom layer of the hierarchy. When you import this tree into a new scene, it will become a component, and the leaves will be nested inside that component. This is why you need to explode the tree once before you export to Maxwell if you want to get maximum instancing. For turning your 3D tree into a 2D billboard, just render the tree in a side view, enable render alpha and render options before you render. For your SketchUp billboard, you need to add the alpha mask as transparency to the image, downsize the resolution for use in SketchUp, and save as PNG. Next you're going to use the two maps to create a new Maxwell material. You can use the clip map wizard for that. You will need to invert the clip map. And going back to SketchUp, import your PNG onto a vertical face, scale the image so it's the right size for the tree, and roughly cut out the shape of the tree. This is just to create the shadow. The next thing you want to do is hide the edges of the billboard. Reselect everything, including the hidden edges, right click, make component, enter the name. You can make the component face the camera, and then you need to assign the gluing plane to the base of the tree. Okay, your billboard is now ready. You can see it will face the camera. It has a nice little shadow to it. You can right click and save this component for later use. And of course, if you have the 3D tree in the scene, you can now go in and swap to that 3D tree. That is all for this tutorial. Thanks.